Hello everyone. In this video, we will look at the next part of speech to study in detail, that is pronouns. Pronouns are words that replace or stand in for nouns, usually to avoid repetition. So, in a sentence, when we use a noun and then we have to use the same noun again, we sometimes use pronouns so that we don't have to repeat the same noun, or sometimes it doesn't have to be in the same sentence but in succeeding sentences. ഒരു സെൻറ്റൻസിൽ ഒരു നൗൺ ഉപയോഗിച്ചു, അടുത്ത സെൻറ്റൻസിൽ അതേ നൗൺ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നതിന് പകരം നമ്മൾ പ്രോനൗൺ ഉപയോഗിക്കും. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരേ സെൻറ്റൻസിൽ തന്നെ രണ്ട് പ്രാവശ്യം ഒരു നൗൺ റിപ്പീറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് പകരം രണ്ടാമത്തെ പ്രാവശ്യം നമ്മൾ പ്രോനൗൺ ഉപയോഗിക്കും. So that is how pronouns are used. And there are different types of pronouns, and the most common type of pronoun that we are all familiar with is personal pronouns. Personal pronouns replace words that refer to people or things. And personal pronouns have number, that means they can be singular or plural. They have person, which means they can be in first person, second person, or third person. First person is the person who is speaking. Second person is the person being spoken to. ആരോടാണോ പറയുന്നത്, that is second person. And third person is the person being spoken about. ഈ പറയുന്ന ആളും കേൾക്കുന്ന ആളും അല്ലാതെ വേറൊരാൾ, അതാണ് third person. So first person, second person, and third person. Personal pronouns also have cases. That means how is a pronoun being used in a sentence? If it is used in the subject position, object position, or in the possessive case. So these are different cases. Subjective case, objective case, whether it is used as an indirect object, whether it is used as a direct object, or whether it is used as possessive. Now this, you can see number, person, and case in personal pronouns in much greater detail, in much greater clarity if you look at this chart. So here we have a lot of personal pronouns, and we have them in first, second, and third person. We have them in singular and plural. We also have them in the subject position, the object position, and the possessive case. So let us look at each in detail. First person is I or we, first person pronoun, and in the subject position singular it is I, and in the subject position plural it is we. The same first person in the object position singular it is me, in the object position plural it is us. First person possessive singular is my or mine. First person possessive plural is our or ours. So I in subject position becomes me in object position, and the possessive case form of the first person singular is my or mine. And the plural of I is we in the subject position. It becomes us in the object position, and the possessive case form is our or ours. Similarly with second person, but second person is much simpler because whether it is singular or plural, whether it is subject or object position, you use the word you. So you can be used as second person subject singular, second person subject plural, second person object singular, and second person object plural. The possessive case is your or yours, whether it is singular or plural, there is no difference. Third person, he, she, it, and they are the third person subject position pronouns. He, she, and it are singular, they is plural. When it comes to the object position, the third person singular is him, her, or it. So he becomes him, she becomes her, and it becomes it itself. And the plural form of the third person pronoun in object position is them. So instead of they, it is them. In the possessive case, the third person singular can be his, her, hers, or its. This is his book, this book is his. This is her book, this book is hers. This is its. like that, his, her, hers, or its. And the plural of the possessive case form of the third person pronoun is their or theirs. This chart might look complicated, but these are already things that you are familiar with, and it will be very easy for you to use them. Just keep in mind that personal pronouns are of first person, second person, and third person. They can be singular or plural, and they can be used in the subject position, in the object position, or in the possessive case. Now let us look at some other kinds of pronouns. Reflexive pronouns. A reflexive pronoun tells us that whoever performs the action in a sentence is also the one on the receiving end of that action. In other words, the reflexive pronoun reflects back to the subject. So the subject of the action and the object of the action is one and the same. And the reflexive pronouns are myself, yourself, himself, herself, etc. So in a sentence, when you're talking about yourself, when you're saying something that affected yourself, then you use a reflexive pronoun. Just like that with any other pronoun. And a reflexive pronoun can be used as a direct object, the indirect object, or the object of a preposition in a sentence. So, which are the different positions in a sentence where a reflexive pronoun can occur? What are the different functions that are performed by a reflexive pronoun? So, let us look at these sentences, example sentences. First sentence, I like myself. I like myself. Here, myself is a reflexive pronoun, and that comes as the direct object of the verb like. What do I like? I like myself. So, here, myself is the direct object. Second sentence, I bought myself a book. I didn't buy myself. I bought a book, but I bought myself a book. That book is intended for myself. So here the reflexive pronoun myself is used as the indirect object of the verb buy. I bought myself a book. Here the direct object is a book. The indirect object is myself. So here myself functions as the indirect object. And the third sentence, I bought this book for myself. It means the same thing, but it's just a slightly different structure. Here, myself is a reflexive pronoun, and that functions as the object of the preposition for. I bought this book for myself. So, myself is a reflexive pronoun. It is the object of the preposition for. So, here you can see the three different examples of how a reflexive pronoun can be used in a sentence, how it can function in a sentence as a direct object, an indirect object, or the object of a preposition. And from all this, it is very clear that a reflexive pronoun can never act, can never function as the subject of a sentence, because the reflexive pronoun is always talking, it is reflecting on the subject, right? It is reflecting back to the subject. So the subject has to be something else. You can't say myself likes this. You can't say myself bought the book. That is wrong. Sometimes in Indian English, in a very casual context, you can see people introducing themselves beginning with myself. That is wrong. People say myself Ramesh. But that is an Indianism that is considered to be wrong or incorrect. You are supposed to say, my name is Ramesh or I am Ramesh. You shouldn't actually start a sentence with myself. Myself, yourself, himself, etc. These reflexive pronouns never function as a subject in a sentence, but only as the direct object, the indirect object, or object of a preposition. Now, there are some pronouns which look exactly like a reflexive pronoun but are slightly different in their function. They are called intensive pronouns. An intensive pronoun emphasizes a preceding noun. There is a noun which comes before the pronoun, and the pronoun is used to emphasize that preceding noun, the noun which comes before. To precede means to come before. Sometimes, often, but not always, often this is a noun that comes immediately before the pronoun. It doesn't have to be always immediately before the pronoun, but usually it comes immediately before the pronoun. And intensive pronouns look exactly the same as reflexive pronouns. Myself, himself, herself, themselves, yourself, yourselves. These are itself. It's the same. It looks exactly the same, but the use is different. The function is different. They are only used for emphasis. Now let us look at these two example sentences. One is intensive and the other is reflexive. The first sentence says, the queen herself gave him the award. The queen herself gave him the award. Here, herself is functioning as an intensive pronoun. Queen തന്നെയാണ് അവൻ award കൊടുത്തത്. It is nobody else but the queen who gave him the award. So here herself is used for emphasis. It is nobody else but the queen. The queen herself gave him the award. But in the second sentence, the queen gave herself an award. Here herself functions as a reflexive pronoun. To whom did the queen give the award? She gave it to herself. She didn't give the award to anybody else. She gave it to herself. Here herself reflects back on the subject, which is the queen. The queen gave herself an award. So in these two sentences you can see that the reflexive or the pronoun herself is used both as a reflexive pronoun and as an intensive pronoun, and you can see the difference between the two. The next type of pronoun is relative pronoun. And the relative pronouns in English are who, whom, whose, which, and that. Who, whom, and whose are used to refer to people, whereas which is used only to refer to objects, and that is used to refer to both people and objects, but usually objects, mostly objects. Relative pronouns show a relationship between a noun and a clause. And usually this will be a clause that provides information about the noun. That clause describes the noun or provides extra information about the noun. And such clauses which begin with a relative pronoun are called relative clauses. So when you study clauses, you would study different types of clauses. Relative clauses is one of those clauses, and they always begin with a relative pronoun. Who, whom, whose, which, that, etc. An example of a relative pronoun is the word that in the sentence, this is the house that Jack built. This is the house that Jack built. Here we have a clause, relative clause, that Jack built. That Jack built is a relative clause which gives more information about the noun house. This is the house. Which house? This is the house that Jack built. You can also use relative pronouns to combine two sentences into one. So let's look at these two sentences. The students won the competition. They started to celebrate. The students won the celebration as one sentence. The students started to celebrate, or they started to celebrate, is the second sentence. But you can combine these two using the relative pronoun who. The students who won the competition started to celebrate. So here we are combining the two sentences to form a new sentence, a more complex sentence with the same meaning as the other two sentences, and we are combining these two sentences using the relative pronoun who. Next we have two types of pronouns, interrogative pronouns and demonstrative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are used to ask questions. So who, what, which, whom, whose. When these words are used to ask questions, they are called interrogative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns show something or point towards certain people or objects. This, that, these, and those are the common demonstrative pronouns. Now, one thing that we should keep in mind is that the same words, the same pronouns, who, what, which, whom, whose, which are interrogative in nature, and this, that, these, those, which are demonstrative in nature, the same words can be used both as pronouns and as adjectives. So let's look at these sentences. Which is your house and which house is yours? Another pair of sentences is this is my house, this house is mine. Now let's look at the first pair of sentences. Which is your house and which house is yours? Which is the interrogative pronoun here. In the first sentence, which is your house, which can stand alone. It is substituting for the subject of that sentence, which is your house. There's nothing else. So it is standing in the subject position, it is standing for a noun. Here, which is just an interrogative pronoun. But in the second sentence, which house is yours, which doesn't stand by itself, it qualifies the noun house. So here, when you say which house is yours, which is used as an adjective, and it is an interrogative adjective. We will study this again when we study adjectives. Similarly, let's look at the demonstratives. This is my house and this house is mine. When you say this is my house, this is a demonstrative pronoun that can stand by itself. It is just a demonstrative pronoun. But in the second sentence, this house is mine, this is not standing by itself, but rather it is qualifying the noun house. So it is a demonstrative adjective. Next, we have indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns don't refer to a particular person or thing, it is a bit more vague. So, you have pronouns like anyone, everyone, many, few, both, all, any, most, none, etc. These are all examples of indefinite pronouns. Then we have reciprocal pronouns. Reciprocal pronouns refer to each other, one another, etc. So you use each other when you refer to two people. They liked each other, they hated each other. Just two people or two entities. One another is used when you are referring to more than two people. So suppose you're talking about three friends and or three people, and then you're saying they tricked one another. They cheated one another. So it means that each of those persons cheated the others. So reciprocal pronouns can be each other or one another. Each other is used when you refer to just two people or two entities. One another is used when you refer to more than two people or two entities. Thus, to sum up, what are the different types of pronouns? We have personal pronouns, reflexive pronouns, intensive pronouns, relative pronouns, interrogative pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, indefinite pronouns, and reciprocal pronouns. So these are the different types of pronouns that we can see in the English language. Thank you.